Missladypetal here, and I couldn't resist putting on a little bit of red lip gloss this week. I'm having one of those clear skin days where I just put a clear moisturiser on it and I leave everything alone. And I'm having a bad hair day. I need to wash my hair because it's messy and starting to look like, you know, witch's hair or messy hair. But personally, I don't mind it. I think to myself, if I was ever going to have dreads, they'd probably look all right on me. Maybe I should do that when I finally get old enough to have a midlife crisis. I don't know. At 42, I haven't had one yet. Oh well. Although if you call wearing red lipstick and having red hair and... yeah, nah, I haven't had one yet. I'm praying I never do. I'm praying I'll just grow old gracefully, and I am really proud of the fact that I'm over 40 and I still look okay. I know some people in their early 40s that don't. So I'm okay with that. I don't have heaps and heaps and heaps of wrinkles. Gosh, it sounds shallow. Oh, let's scrap that whole conversation altogether. No, really. That's not what my vlogs... well, my vlog can be whatever I want. But, you know, you never get... oh, gosh. Anyway, this week I have gotten, and I'm going to lift the camera up above me, my seeds canvases onto the wall up above. Yay! Oh, gosh, and now everything's crooked. Anyway, this week, after the debacle of showing you the seeds canvases, I then had to edit out what happened after I couldn't get my camera back on track and you saw it falling off. But, you know, things happen. I should keep that as a blooper, shouldn't I? Anyway, so, oh, look, my life is just full on. On Monday night, I had a mayoral dinner for Rotary. So every year Rotary invites the Mayor of Logan, and Logan is the third largest city in Queensland in my state. So I live in a big city, so it's a pretty big deal to have the Mayor attend, and we love our Mayor, Pam Parker. She is amazing advocate for education and the young and business development in our city, and what she's done in the last 7 years as Mayor has been amazing, and I can't speak highly enough of her. She's just announced her retirement, and of course she did it on International Women's Day, and there was a collective sound of gasps and tears and God knows what from, you know, a couple of hundred women who were there for the Mayor's International Women's Day breakfast. Which I wasn't there, but I heard about it, right? Yeah, glad I wasn't there. Well, no, not really, but yeah, really. So last week I went to the markets on Sunday, played hooky from church in the morning because I was going at night. And the main reason we went to Manly markets, and we picked an interesting day because like a Queensland boat show was there. So like full on, right? Anyway, so we found parking 3 streets away from the markets, which I thought was pretty amazing because there were a lot more people that didn't. We went to the markets, and it was primarily because there's a shoemaker there that does sandals and thongs in leather. And he's been doing that for a number of years, like 20 years, I think. Anyway, I had a chat to him the last time around. I said, I really like your thongs, right? But none of them fit my feet. And he said, do you know why? And I went, why? He said, because I custom make these shoes to fit whoever's buying them's foot individually. And I went, really? So, although his thongs and sandals are $85, they're all leather. Like the soles, the straps, all leather, beautifully stitched, really strong. He showed me a pair of 15-year-old thongs and a pair of 20-year-old sandals, and they just needed a new bottom sole, and that was it. And I'm like, okay, so you're making a really, really quality product, and you're offering to make me a pair of thongs that fit flip-flops, they say in the US, but they kind of are like sandals. So I like thongs that crisscross right out up my foot and almost look like a sandal but don't have the back strap. So they're almost a sandal without having the back strap. That's the type of thongs that I tend to buy. I like not just having 2 strips of something because they keep falling off my feet because I'm sloppy. So anyway, he goes, oh, okay, well, let's measure your feet up. Because I went, okay, I want a pair. I want to see what you do. So he measures my feet up and he goes, you've got one foot that's bigger than the other. And I went, yep. He said, that would have been interesting when you've been buying shoes. And I went, my whole life, like it's been really interesting buying shoes. And he goes, great. Well, I'm going to make these for each individual foot. And I went, great. Fabulous. So I've got to go back for a fitting and doing them in 2 shades of teal. I really want a peach, like a really nice peachy colour, because that goes really well with my skin and stuff. But other than that, teal's like my favourite. So 2 shades of teal, a light teal and a deep aqua, and he's going to crisscross them together into the straps to make them look awesome. I've got to go back this Sunday for him to then, he'll have the straps and the bases done, but he won't have put the soles on, and the straps will be going through the bases. And what he'll do is he'll adjust the height of those straps to exactly fit my feet, and then he'll put the soles on, and then they'll completely fit me, like length, width, height, everything will just be perfect for my feet. And I'm thinking to myself, I tend to buy thongs that I really love the style of, but they're not really good quality, and I wear them to death until they die. These things will have a beautiful soft sole on them, and once I wear them in, because of course with all that leather you've got to stretch it and wear it in. Once I wear them in, these should be the most comfortable pair of shoes I think I will own. And living in Queensland where it's hot, I can honestly say I will get heaps and heaps of wear out of them. Looking forward to that. Then, when we were at the markets, my son Brandon came running up to me and said, Mum, you got to see this artist who's spray painting paintings over here. I just bought this, and he held up this painting. I just bought this for $15, and I watched him do it, and it's so exciting, Mum, and it's framed. And I went, okay. Now, I walked over there and found my favourite one that I saw was only $10, and it was framed. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I have seen this particular type of spray paint art done on YouTube, and I've always been extremely interested in it. I have no desire to do it myself, but I really liked it. And the only thing that I've got to say negatively against this is that the artist did not sign his work, and I got some little hand printed card, and I thought to myself, I think you should be charging a little bit more for what you do. So this is what I got. So those of you who have seen this kind of art done, spray paint art done on YouTube, this is not large by any stretch of the imagination. This is 10 by 8. The frames are 10 by 8 frames, so it's not very large. That was $10, including the frame. And after watching him do this kind of work, yeah, it probably should have been a bit more, but I'm not complaining. Not complaining at all. But he was amazing, and he was a young guy. Like, I think he was probably 18 or 19. Yeah, and he's interested in graffiti art. And so I was saying, oh, like, I'm an artist. I like the composition of that particular picture better than some of his others. The parents are going, oh, you're an artist. So I gave them a card, and I'm like, oh, I'll have a look and see, you know, go to some of my social media sites, have a look. I've done some graffiti art. I mainly do it for commission because I don't get the opportunity, and I don't have, quite frankly, I don't have the best spray can paints to do it on walls, but I haven't been invited to do it on walls. But that would be exciting if one day I did, wouldn't it? Street art. I love really good street cityscape art. Love it, love it, love it. Want to see more of it. Our cities, in my opinion, are too grey, and the more of this kind of art that we can see on some of those really dull grey 1970s buildings, the better, I think. I love the thought of having art and then it's recycled, and see, it's photographed and you've got the digital copy of it, and then it lasts about 8 years and then it has to be done again, and so you keep renewing the art, and it's constant work for artists, and I just like the idea. It just beautifies our cities, and it's a completely different form of art, and what the hey, I love it. So, Confessions of an Art Journal Junkie for this week. So this week I was watching a Vicky Papaneau, her latest art journal page, and I thought to myself, yeah, you know, those Tim Holtz tall letters, I've been watching her use them on almost every single art journal page she does for like years, and I thought to myself, yeah, it's about time I got them. I write long and tall, and sometimes I just want to do it in the same sort of text that she was and manipulate it a little bit better, and sometimes I'm rushed and I just want to do it like that. But I thought to myself, okay, well, I'll try and find them. Do you think that I could find them in Australia? No. And do you think that when my friend and I, you know, when Vicky and I, because she's my personal shopper, and when I mentioned to her I was looking for these stamps, she's like, yeah, let me look. Okay, Vic. I said, good luck with that. I don't think you'll find any in Australia. Anyway, I came across people who had sold them, and then we emailed them and asked them, can you get them in? And they went, no, the warehouse, they're discontinued at the warehouse. So I'm like, oh. So I ended up looking at Amazon, and Amazon had his worn letters and his tall letters at half the price that they were listed at in Australia for the discontinued stock anyway. Like, they were half the price. So even with the crappy exchange rate, I think we're at 76 Australian cents to the US dollar. So yeah, I'm paying like a third more on anything you guys are right now. Even with that and their shipping, because I combined the shipping, I ended up getting the first set for like $30, and in Australia it was retailing for $46. The second set for $20, and in Australia it was retailing for $46. So if I'd ordered it in Australia, it would have been 2 lots of 46 plus about $7.50 postage. Order from Amazon cost me $60 all up, including the postage. Interesting. Even with the crappy exchange rate. I thought that was interesting. So I got those, and I'm trying to think to myself, what I got something else. What was, oh, okay, I have to find it on my desk here. So I also went looking for the tall letters at my local scrapbooking store, but they didn't have them, but they had these. And like, I can draw birds, right? But there's something about these that make me think of, there's a couple of them that make me think of the penguins in Madagascar, which I love. And there's quite a lot of line work done in them. And yes, I could draw my own birds, but sometimes I want to be lazy and just do stuff that I love. And I don't always want to have to draw. And they are awesome. They are really awesome. Had a lot of fun. I've already done some postcards with them. Now, for those of you that are in my Journaling Crazy Island style swap group for the Practice Makes Perfect postcard swap, I'm just going to say to you now, I cheated and used Tim Holtz birds. because I haven't had heaps of time. No, not heaps of time. Yes, this week. But everything else about them is kind of individual. And some stamps, and I wrote an apology note on the back. But they're really, really cute. You will love them. You will love them, because I do. I do. So, for my swap partners there. So, what have I been doing this week? Apart from working, doing a Crafty Crusaders blog video, which is going to be gorgeous, where I'm trialling some different things. I also have been sketching again, and I pulled out my Linda Ravenscroft book and just felt like doing a couple of fairies. So I did different kinds of fairies, so you can see these. So you can see I've done this one here with lots of flowers all around her, and she's kind of kneeling down, and you know, these are really rough. And then I did another one where I wanted a fairy to be like kind of almost flying but leaning over something, so I could get lovely long little pretty legs. And she's got like a real little tutu, but it's made out of leaves, and really wispy wings. And I haven't finished her face, and I've done some mushrooms there. Can you see the mushrooms? So I don't know. You know, this book is like a prototype book, so it's a book that I do stuff. Some stuff I colour, some I don't. All of it I scan, and I think to myself, what will I do something with that? So I think it's sometimes really good to just sketch, and then it can give you ideas for future projects or pages or blah blah blah. So leading on from that, I bought with Lifebook. My Lifebook subscription this year, I bought 2 other courses. One was Drawing Whimsical Creatures, the World of Whimsy, which I absolutely loved doing. It was really cute, and you know, I have this wide plethora of characters and people and animals and stuff that I do now as a result of being able of just, you know, watching that course and seeing what Tam does and getting a few ideas and then making them my own. I like that. I like making things my own. Anyway, so I did week 2 of her Fabulous Faces course, and week 1 was doing something completely in graphite, which I didn't really like. I didn't really like what I did at all. No. I mean, she's alright, and the shading I think is good, but yeah, no, don't like it. Anyway, so I did week 2, which was a colorized face, and you know, Tam has a particular style, and I don't want to draw like Tam. I like to learn what they're doing, but I don't want to be a carbon copy of Tam. So I did my girl face. She's going off on social media this morning. Yep. I popped her up on Willowing and a few other places, and she's looking a bit gorgeous. Love her eyes. You see the detail in her eyes? Love her eyes. Did them all in colour pencil. And her hair is all done in Inktense, and I drew it all in first, 4 different Inktense blocks. And then I just got a flat brush and just stroked the water over it so that I activated it. But you can see all the variegation, and that was a one-hit wonder kind of thing. Not really finished with the plait yet, but I'll get there with that. It's just playing with plaits and dimension and just trying to get that right. It's not quite right. I'm going to finish it off with colour pencils. So that's a face that, you know, because the lesson asked for it. Now that's only done on cartridge paper, so of course on the back, you know, it's just that you can see that pitted. So because this is a cartridge paper journal, but it did cope with the water and everything really quite well, as I found through other things, which has heartened me when I'm going through drawing stuff, that if I do want to colorize it in this journal, I certainly can. I've done another sermon journal notes page, and I'll just put the quick video up of that. I didn't talk it through because it's just one of those really fun, let's quickly sketch it out, splot it down, and there we go. Because I did it like Saturday afternoon for Sunday. So I was really late with that. and I ended up I normally fill up one half page, like 1 page per week, so I normally get 2 weeks, but Scott did such a great message last week that I actually covered the whole 2 pages with notes, because of course, you know, I'd lost a third of the page with birds, as you do. Yep. So I've already started my next one, but it's a little bit different. So that's kind of, oh, Destiny Rescue. So the Destiny Rescue update, 16 girls saved this week. I'm really heartened by that, because Destiny Rescue, for those of you that haven't watched some of my vlogs, and you may be watching this for the first time, Destiny Rescue is my charity of choice, and you can go to destinyrescue.org in the US and in New Zealand and in Australia. If you're in other countries, unfortunately you can't purchase the jewellery, but Destiny Rescue rescues girls and women out of sex slavery in Asia, and then it rehomes them and gives them a job making jewellery and all sorts of other things, so that they don't have to go back to a life of sex slavery just to survive. And it is an amazing project. And this week, just this week, 16 girls. I'm excited. 16 girls saved this week from sex slavery. They'll never have to go back there again. Now, if that's not a project that's worth pursuing and worth supporting, I don't know what is. The human trafficking and sex slavery, apparently now, today, with the stats that we have, we know that slavery, just slavery in any form, is at record levels. Far more people are in slavery today than have ever been in the history of the world. So if you think about it this way, in ancient times when they had slaves and slavery was a way of life and a way of doing things, and even in America and in England when they had slaves, and Europe, and when slavery, and then it all got abolished, right? And we're all liberated, and you know, that's the way it's going now. Yeah, slavery levels today are more than they've ever been. So I personally feel fabulous choosing a charity that helps lift some people out of slavery. What can one person do? Look, I'm not personally responsible for 16 girls saved this week. I'm not. I'm just a small part of that. But I like to know I'm a small part of that. And I like to know that anything that I do in that sphere, and the jewellery that I buy, and all the work that I do to encourage my subscribers to buy Destiny Rescue jewellery that's named after the girl that makes it. So you buy individual pieces and they're named after the girl that made it. And those girls make that jewellery to survive and to have a different life to what they were living through no fault of their own. So that's exciting. And I encourage you all to go to, I'll put the links up on the details underneath here, but I'll also put the link up on this screen for destinyrescue.org.au and for New Zealand and for US. And I can't speak highly enough of the small amount that you spend on some of that jewellery and purchase a few items. They make excellent gifts. I bought all of my nieces and relatives Destiny Rescue jewellery for Christmas, and they absolutely loved it. They loved it. They loved the story behind it. They loved the fact that I had purchased something for them that meant that they were helping girls get out of sex slavery. Loved it. And I call it, there's a particular name for it, but it's where you buy something but you know you're buying it for charity, but you still get something out of it. So it's like profitable charity. So it's not I just give money and then I hope it goes to good use. It's like I'm buying an item and I know all the proceeds of that go back to the charity. So it's like venture charity, where you start a business and then the funds go to charity. But it is a business that markets items and stuff like that. So I really like that kind of charity. I like the fact that people get something out of it. I often will donate money to Destiny Rescue and not buy any jewellery at all, because I'd really like that extra money to go in there. And when my girlfriend Lisa's having a stall at church or something, I often just say to her, like, I'm just buying, I'll just give you some money for it, and she'll be like really appreciative. So I'll just leave you with that sometimes in our lives it's great to have a social conscience, and that could be in your local community. I know that I'm working on some projects for my local community right now, and you know, like art for auction and doing stuff. It's like, use your creativity or whatever that you're good at, or ever, you know, if you're a card maker or a scrapbooker. I know I used to donate cards that I made to charity, and then they would auction off the cards and do things like that, and do projects or donate my art for postcards and allow them to use the intellectual property on my art for the run of those postcards. So I love that kind of thing. Yeah. And it means that you unlock blessing into your life. That's what I've found. Whilst ever that you are giving back or giving out, you unlock blessing in your life. And it is, like, apart from being a biblical principle, it is a law. You reap what you sow. If you sow generosity and money into something, and goodwill and prayers and good thoughts and good words and good deeds, then you will reap what you sow. And I find that for great volunteers in our community. I went to a funeral not too long ago where we were celebrating someone who'd been a long-term volunteer, and there was 1,000 people there. They had touched so many people, and there was more people there that they touched that couldn't attend. And I just thought to myself, what kind of legacy do we then leave? And your art can sometimes be selfish, like for you, and I'm very well aware of it can be selfish. It's a singular pursuit. I get to art with people quite often, and that is amazing. But I often, and the majority of the time, I do my art on my own. And it is a singular pursuit and something that I do for me and by me. And if I can then give back and do something amazing, then I will do that. And I will have a great time doing it. And I then unlock some sort of blessing in accordance with what I sow. So with the chicken project, sowed that, had a great time doing that, had a great time plugging that, and it came to the notice of Rotary, and now we're looking at that as a bigger project. So sowing something bigger, reaping something bigger. And with work that I donate to charity, or I donate some of the proceeds of my art sales to charity, I love all that. I think it's great. And sometimes I donate it to local community groups, like Quota or Rotary or something like that, and other times I donate it to church, and they use it overseas to buy chickens for widows or put roofs on houses and churches. So I think having a little bit of a social conscience is a good thing, and it keeps us grounded, and for me it makes me really think of those that are far less fortunate and have so much less than I do, and what can I do then in my place of privilege and you know, wealth compared to the majority of the people in the world. I'm wealthy. What can I do then to make their lives a little bit better? So I'm going to leave you with that thought. Learn something new. It keeps you young. Ciao for now until next week. Missladypetal. Bye.